And welcome back to WGN TV Political Report. My next guest has seen it all as alderman of Chicago's 27th Ward for the last 30 years. Thursday was his last official day as a member of City Council, and he joins me this morning now in our WGN studios for more about what's next. It's Walter Burnett, and welcome to the show. Former alderman, good to see you.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, we were just talking about mutual friend, Steve Dale. Hey, before we get to your life decisions, I want to ask you about the news the mayor made this week regarding the city's billion-dollar budget gap. So Mayor Johnson says he's thinking about a return to the corporate head tax, something that went away in the Rahm Emanuel days, and a bunch of other so-called, what he calls progressive revenue sources. Out of your hands now. You're an outsider looking in. What should they do?
Well, I think they need to go and negotiate it. Of course, they're looking at every means of being able to balance the budget. Of course, the corporations aren't going to be happy about it. Maybe I would encourage the corporations and the chambers to go in and try to negotiate and get it down as far as they can.
You've seen 30 years of budgets being made. Part of that process inside City Hall, Mayor Johnson, Lightfoot, Emanuel, all blame their predecessors for poor legal management and growing financial troubles, including pensions and COVID-type funding, that kind of stuff drying up. You were there. Do you see a problem that's built in to the system that causes these problems, maybe built in from the Daley years? Is there a path out of this kind of hardship in the long term?
Yeah, well, we do have lingering deficits. The pensions just keep going up. It's always going to be a challenge. We always have to come up with new revenues and new money to be able to balance the budget. You think about it, COVID really hit the city hard. We lost a lot of revenue. Right now, development has been slowing down. We used to get a lot of revenue from development. We get a lot of new tax dollars from new housing. Housing development has slowed down, but it's coming back. So now the retailers are doing much better. A lot more money is coming in with retail. You're starting to get more permits for buildings, but not as much as we used to get before COVID. So when those things come back, I think we'll be okay. And then, especially once the casino get in, that'll help us with the pension challenge, and it'll start balancing out. I think there's light at the end of the tunnel, but I think we have to go through this hard time right now to get there.
When you think of the last 30 years, your ward has gone through such a transformation from the United Center and 2 Democratic national conventions and a business, a restaurant boom, the casino, as you say, coming in. What's been the most impactful project that you have worked on, and what are you perhaps leaving undone as you leave?
Well, the one that I'm leaving undone right now, I'm leaving a couple of things undone. I'm leaving the 1901 undone, the casino undone. There's a big development over in Goose Island that's on the books. There's a big development called NAMI over in the River West area where they have a lot of land that they're supposed to build several buildings that's undone. And a lot of these guys are trying to get funding because the interest rates are slowing it down, but that's going to come back. And it's starting to come back. And so those things are sort of undone. Trying to get a field house over at Skinner Park, new L stop over at Adams and Ogden area, a new L stop on the Brown line over on Orleans and Division, so I got all these things in the hopper to be done. And they're going to get done, but I won't be around for them. I won't be the alderman when they do get done.
On the higher note, what are you most proud of over these last years?
So one of the things I'm most proud of, we've been able to build a lot of new schools, a lot of new parks. One of the things I'm most proud of is fighting for the ARO, right? The Affordable Requirement Ordinance. We started out with 10%, it's up to 20% now. Folks are getting a lot of affordable housing. My ward has the most permits of all wards in the city of Chicago and the most market rate housing, but we also have the most affordable housing. Also fighting to preserve the SRO, single room occupancy buildings, so that they don't just get torn down and turned to market rate, giving the affordable development for another opportunity to be able to keep them afloat. The new Malcolm X, the county hospital. I can go on and on, Paul. We've been able to do a lot of things, a lot of new buildings, a lot of new development, a lot of new infrastructure. When the Democratic convention came, man, we just exploded our whole community with infrastructure work, you know, over the ramps of the expressways, the planters on Randolph Street, Fulton Market, you know, has come to be where it was. I mean, a lot of folks don't know, before it was Fulton Market, it was just a meat market. And myself and the meat market folks was fighting the administration to stop residential development from coming over there because they were scared of getting kicked out. So then time went on and they started seeing that they can make more money. So I'm happy that I stood with those guys. Now all of those guys walked away as millionaires, right?
Well, you know, one of the things that's part of that is you have been able to develop a good relationship from Mayor Daley on through, you know, the current Mayor Johnson. And I mean, even to the point where Johnson made you his vice mayor and you endorsed Paul Vallis in the runoff against him. What is your secret sauce into having a mayor basically look at you and go, I can work with you?
So I think everyone knows my heart. They know I care about the people. They know I care about my ward. They know that I'm very, if I say something, I'm gonna tell them the truth, right? I'm not gonna BS them. I'm not trying to do anything for myself. I'm just trying to do the best for myself and for the city. You know, over the years, I have become a alderman that do things not just for my ward, but for the city, because my ward is a big part of the city now, because a lot of funding come from my ward now, or the ward that I was over. But one of the things, I think I had that kind of relationship where I can, you know, just talk straight up to people, look them in the eye, and just be candid with them. And I think they appreciate that. You know, I think, you know, Mayor Daley, I always say Mayor Daley, me and Mayor Daley had a different relationship because I came from George Dunn, right? So I was under George Dunn and Jesse White. So he was a little more comfortable talking to me.
Because you had some of those people that were in his world.
In his world.
Let me just ask you, as you leave city council now, you're looking, everybody knows you want the CHA job, the head job. Mayor Johnson last week, some people thought he was going to announce you. He didn't. He's got 3 people that he's considering. Sort of curious, what about your background says that's the job you want to move to now?
So, the interesting thing is I had to, one of the things that have been holding me up on retiring was not finishing up what happened at Cabrini Green. You know, I had to tear down those buildings. I grew up over there. My mom was there, who just died this year. But my mom was there when I had to make the decision to tear them down. I had to get input from my mother and people from the community. And I gave them a commitment that I was going to make sure they had the opportunity to come back. And that was holding me up because it's taken so long to be able to redevelop that fully. And so now with this opportunity to be able to, with this opening and trying to get this opportunity, maybe I can finish that up, right? And crazy thing is I got remapped into the Rockwell Gardens area. I was born in Rockwell. My mother and grandmother were the first families, one of the first families to move over there. So to be able to finish up that redevelopment, I mean, it is just it would be a complete 360.
Coming around. So I do want to give you a chance to respond to something I'm sure you're aware of since the appointment's not made. A CHA resident-led advisory council said, and I'm quoting them, that you've never helped public housing residents before. Their concern is you may take some of this land public. How do you respond to that criticism? Especially the mayor may be watching right now, needs a decision.
So, I don't know why they said that, but for one of my main reasons for wanting to stay, because I was concerned about folks taking Cabrini Green land, because it's some of the most expensive land in the city of Chicago. And I've been standing up, making sure that they're not able to do that. Even when we built a target on Cabrini Green land, and you can't just get land, you can't just get CHA land away. You got to get the approval from HUD. It's HUD land. We had to trade land in order for Target to go there. We had to get other land. So those comments are unfounded. I don't know why they would say that, because I'm a big fighter and protector for public housing folks. And as far as one of the folks who was in there was from Henry Horner. She's my LAC president. She had just left my office on getting the donation for her kids program.
So fair enough that you responded there. I do want to also ask you about this. As you've left the council, you've encouraged the mayor to appoint your son in your replacement. So I just got to ask you, the city response around here, the nepotism, it's no different than a lot of other people have done it, but why not just step out of the process and say, Mayor, do your thing, pick the best person. And if your son wants it, then he goes for it.
Yeah, so I mean, my son is going to apply just like everyone else. And the mayor had the opportunity to do what he wanted to do in reference to that. You know, and I think my son, of course, he's my son. I think he's the best. And I think he grew up in it. He knows it. You know, the water's changing so much, Paul, since we've done so much development. It's over, the voting population is 40% under 35 years old, and it's growing every day. Every time a new building get built, those numbers go up.
Yeah.
Granted, by the time election time comes, it's going to be more than 50% under 35 years old.
And
So
I imagine, and the mayor's just going to do what the mayor's going to do.
I think the mayor's going to do what he's going to do, and I think my son will be a good choice.
All right. Former Alderman Mayor Burnett, former Alderman Walter Burnett, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you too,
Enjoy
Paul.
what might be a few days of retirement. I don't really know, but we'll see what happens. But thanks for being with me.
Thank you, brother.
Enjoy your
Appreciate
Sunday.
it.
All right. One more break. We'll be back with more Political Report after this.